So on top are some really neat features that we're calling quick actions. Like if I just want to trim a video, that's something typically you can do in your phone by hitting edit, but maybe it's a video that's on your computer. You could just drag it in and trim it really easily. We could also resize our video if we have a video that's too big, maybe to post uh, or to send over email or something, we can resize. Maybe I just have two videos I want to merge really quick. That's a quick action. Cropping, all of these are a little intuitive. But the one I'm really excited about here at the end that's fairly new and expanding is the caption video option, where if I click, maybe I can drag in a YouTube video that I've made here, and it gives me the option to caption that video into at this point, 18 different languages. And that's expanding. We saw at Adobe Max, they're using AI to translate into, right now it said over 100 languages. So I think more languages are coming, which is very exciting and will help make our videos more accessible. Let's get to know the workspace a little bit. So let's say I want to make a YouTube video. Let's click right here. If you're familiar with Premiere Pro or you're familiar with Adobe Rush, this is a much different interface. But once we get to know it, we're going to see that all the things that we can do in Rush, we can also do in Adobe Express. So right now I have a blank canvas. To get to know the workspace, let's just grab one of these one of these templates. So if I click this one, this template is going to open up. Now, these templates are available for you to change and tweak and make your own, and you can post them to your social media. So let's see how this works. Up here, I have my canvas, or my preview monitor is what we would call it, probably in video editing. And then down here, I have my timeline. Now, what's interesting is when I push play, I can see all these things pop up and then go away. Welcome pops up and the background moves and wiggles a little bit. And then to my channel pops up. And then a little shape pops up that says subscribe. Now, typically in Rush or in another program, what we would see is these like welcome would be another layer or another track that's on top in my timeline. If I turn on this button that says show layer timing, I can see that this kind of second track pops up, but there's nothing on it. But if I click on that actual asset where it says welcome, you can see that becomes a second track. And there's only ever going to be two tracks. I'm going to have my main timeline track, and then whatever asset I select will become my secondary track. So for example, you can see if I scroll along here, scrub along, I still have welcome selected, but if I go on to my canvas and click to my channel, now it just hides that previous track and pulls up to my channel. So it's very similar to Rush, where all those tracks are there. They're just not always showing. So they still exist and it's still kind of built out, but they've simplified it by just showing us two tracks at any given time. So for example, once I've scrubbed along to the part where this shows up in my video, I can click it. And now that one's selected or highlighted and visible. So once one is made visible to me, so let's go back here where all three of these are visible. So all three of those tracks are playing at the same time. If I click on any of them, those all pop up, which allows me to say, welcome. I could change that to hello there. And I can stretch that out and I can move that around, and then I can click to my channel. And I could double click that and I could make edits. Like, for example, we could change the color. There's recommended colors. We're going to do this more. And then now I can click subscribe and that one's selected and I can make changes to that. Now, when I push play from the beginning, I've altered a template. Okay, so I just wanted to, before we start from scratch, show you how our track is going to work. I'm going to click video and let's start our video from scratch. When I click start from scratch, it's going to ask me for one video to start with. If I click this first one here and click open and hit create, I'm going to make a new YouTube video. So as I drag along, you can see that this tells me my track is 1 minute and 38 seconds. Okay. Now I can't like in Rush where I put everything in at the same time. I'm going to add things one by one. So this first part, it's similar to Rush where this first part right here, she tells us that she's not an expert in her field. So like, let's say we want to edit a little bit out of this video first. It's similar in Rush where I can clip the beginning of this, or I can drag to my playhead and it's going to edit out that first part. So if there's a part I don't like, I can listen. We're listening along. I say I don't like this. I'll stop it. I'll right click and split the track, then go to the part after that where maybe the mistake occurred. I'll split the track again, and then I can delete the mistake. So in this video, we always want to add like an intro. I can just take the next video I want and drag it down to my timeline and drop it, and then it'll work. Or I can click add scene and drag it right on top here, and it'll add it right there. Now, I can edit my timeline horizontally, so I can take this and switch it back to the beginning, and now my video starts with this scene, like an aerial shot of a beach where we zoom in before switching to our interview. So in Adobe Rush, we have a bunch of what we called mogurts, like intro mogurts that were giving us a really hard time. In Adobe Express, we have the ability to either build our own introduction, like let's say we want to make an intro title, or we can choose from hundreds and hundreds of motion animated graphics. So let's say I wanted to add text. I can just click add your text, and I can say like, let's just say welcome. Okay, and then I can highlight my text. And let's see, I could click recommended and say like, it gives me some options for what it thinks would look nice. That seems pretty cool. I can change the color. It has some recommended colors, or I could choose colors just from my brand. And then I can do all the things that I could do with graphics. So I could, let's see, I could add text effects. Actually, I could do something like make it out of palm leaves. Let's see how that looks. Since we're on the beach, there they go. That looks pretty crazy. Sure, let's go with that one. And then give it a second, generate. Let's go back. Okay, I could add a drop shadow, but what's really cool is I can make my own animations. So previously, anything that I made, any text I made in Rush or Premiere Pro, I would have to move into After Effects to animate. I can click animation and I can animate in, like I can make it bungee in or slide up from the bottom, or, I can animate text or assets, or let's have it slide in and let's have it blink, I guess, and let's have it tumble away. Okay. So this text, and I'm going to add show layer timing again. You can see this is up top here now. And when I push play, it'll come in and it'll blink and then it will tumble away. Now, the way to adjust the timing of anything I've created, like let's say maybe I don't want it to start immediately. Let's zoom in on this. I can just grab it from the beginning and move it to here. And now it won't show up until this part right here. And then let's say I want it to tumble away a little earlier. I can drag this back. Now, when I play it from the beginning, it doesn't pop up immediately. It gives me a second, and then it tumbles away when I want it to. And we saw how we could introduce. This is going to be Civic. And we could edit this text any way we wanted. And we could have it animate in. We could have it slide in. We're not going to have it do anything. And then we're going to have it slide out. So let's see. And I don't want Zivic's name to play for the entire video. I just want it to play for 2 seconds. It'll slide in, introduce my subject, and slide away. So right here, I have a video of trash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that the size of the entire canvas. And that way it's playing on top. Now, if I move it, you can see this video is still playing underneath. And the reason I want to do that is I still want the audio from what my interviewer is saying or my interviewee is saying. I just want the trash video to play on top. And then we have another one. Let's try it again and make sure it works. Okay, it worked that time. Whew, had me nervous. That one now is over here. I can just place it where I want it on my timeline, and I can like shorten it and lengthen it. So you can see, oh, and it's too small. I have to just click and size it up. So now let's make this a little, there we go, it's shorter. Okay, let's hit play and you can see, so she's going to start talking about pollution and plastics in the ocean. The first video will play over top, but the audio will continue. And then the second video will play and the audio will continue up until where I've shortened it. And then it'll go back to the video of the interview. So I'm able to still make those layers, even though I had a brief heart attack that it wasn't going to work. I'm still able to stack my layers on top of each other. I just can't always see, I can't see all of them. I just the ones that I've selected. So here I'll select it. Now I can see it. When I scroll over to here, I have to click on the canvas to actually be able to see it. Okay, so now let's scroll along and show that I can add, like I can add a photograph and I can put that up into the top corner. Right now she's talking about sustainable products like this water bottle. So I can click this image and I can crop it, which doing this in Adobe Express is actually way easier than doing it in Rush, and definitely easier than Premiere Pro. Okay, and I'll hit return. And I can also, if I really wanted to, I could even animate, which I could not do in Rush. Let's make it spin in. Let's make it bob around. And then let's make it drop out. Okay, so this bobs around. Now that's going to bob around for this whole video. So I need this. Yeah, I need to make sure that this only appears for however long I want to see it. And when I hit play, She's going to talk about a water bottle, which is going to spin in, bob around, and then fall away. So to me, that's a huge perk. Yes, you can definitely adjust the opacity. So this is something you wouldn't be able to do in Rush, the animation. But if I click this and I go to opacity here, I can just drag that down so you can make it more or less opaque or transparent. I can also add a blend mode to it, which is bringing in a little bit of Photoshop. So if you have both multiple images, you can have them blend together. It's even easier to make transitions happen. So for example, I just click this plus in between and I can add a transition like a cross dissolve. Then I can choose the duration of my cross dissolve. So let's make this a long one. And from here, when I push play, you can see it'll cross dissolve from one into the other. If I go to media and I go to audio, I can choose a song. So I can see this song is 1 minute and 57 seconds. This is, I'm not sure, this is only 1 minute and 44 seconds. When I click this, it's going to add my audio track underneath, and you're going to see it automatically crops it to 100 or 1 minute and 45 seconds. When we're done, we can hit download, and you can download this all the way up to a 4K video, which is super exciting. And then, of course, once it's downloaded to your desktop, or your documents or to the cloud, you can go back and hit this little A, and you can schedule it in your social media. If you hook up your social media, you could schedule it to post. So you could sit down and make a bunch of videos, and then you could schedule them all out into your scheduler, and it would handle your social media like all at once, which would be super exciting. The last thing I want to show you before we run out of time is also the ability to work from a template. So let's say I want to make an Instagram reel. And if I choose Instagram reel, it gives me the right template size, the right aspect ratio. And let's say I want to do something like, I don't know, I want to introduce a new student worker that's going to be working on our team. I could scroll through any of these and find something that, seems like, here's one that might seem like it fits what I want to do. And like this seems like I have let's say a student worker, and let's introduce them. So when I push play, it already has done all the work of building out. Like they did all the hard work of animating and popping things in. So if we just want to click on an element, we can replace it. And I can either upload a photograph of my student worker, or I could even do a text to image portrait since I don't have a picture of a student worker. Let's just generate one real quick. So we want art, sure, let's go with art. And I could make a photograph, or I could change this in any way I want. Let's make a photograph. Let's invent a person. There we go. Here's my student worker. That's who I've been looking for. Okay, so I can drag this out, make it nice and large. I'll remove the background. I don't want the background. So let's click remove background. Okay, looking good. Let's double click the text and say, hi, I'm Gus, probably. All right. Hi, I'm Gus. And let's animate, let's make Gus dance a little bit. So I'm gonna let's make him jitter and shrink. Okay, so now when I hit play, that's chaotic, but we've introduced Gus. Now we can change and add little facts about Gus. Change this all around. You're welcome to just use Adobe stock. So like, let's say we don't like this photo, we can go to switch and I can either upload from a device or I can find new photos of honey. Maybe I don't like that photo of honey. This one's way better. Okay. The cropping is a little strange. Let's drag that out. It probably doesn't need to be twisted. There we go. All right, we can change that. And then I scroll to this one. I can change every little element about it and make it my own. And then when I download this, this is a template that you're free to use for social media or for your classes.